All right.
Mm.
So today's topic is Karma Yoga, right? The uh, the big draw of the Gita is Karma Yoga.
Oh, sorry. Kiki's on.
Yeah. Hi, Kiki. So she's joining. So anyway, the way Gita addresses Karma Yoga is a little just slightly different than how say Advait Vedanta addresses Karma Yoga. But I like the way Gita addresses Karma Yoga. It's a very comprehensive way of looking at Karma Yoga. It includes everything. So we'll start getting into that. I think this time we won't go into the Gita verses right now. I just thought let's spend at least one class trying to understand what Karma Yoga is, just the basics, and make sure we are grounded. And then when we read those verses, we will understand them much better. Okay? So so to understand Karma Yoga, first we have to understand what makes us happy and what makes us sad. Because Karma Yoga is about our happiness. It's a way to make us happy. That's the idea of Karma Yoga. So my question to you guys is, what do you think is drives our happiness? Like, we've all lived multiple years. Like, where does happiness come from?
From my family.
Yes, sure, okay.
That's all. For me,
But
happiness
but
is.
remember, Rupa, that
Mm.
the same family can give a lot of joy and can also give a lot of pain.
Yeah.
We're very lucky that we have a family
Mm.
which you know
Give only joy and
which
happiness.
is
Yeah.
giving us more joy than pain.
Yeah.
But you can get a lot of pain from people like your family, and a lot of people have experienced that. So it's not really just family per se which is driving happiness, right? It's very
For
funny.
me,
Some things can give a lot of pleasure to some people and a lot of pain to others. The very same thing. So there's something more than that. Any other thoughts? It's okay. This is just a brainstorming. Nobody has to be right or wrong here.
Yeah,
for
meeting
me,
your
if I'm
goals.
with my sister-in-laws, I'm happy. If I'm with my sister and brothers, I'm happy.
Yeah.
If my husband has time for me, then I'm happy.
So for
That's
you,
it.
happiness is coming from relationships, right?
Relationships, exactly. That's it.
Yeah.
Nothing else. And music. And music.
And music, okay.
That's it. And TV. TV, of course, that's part of music. Yeah. Yeah. The shows.
So, a more generalized way of looking at it, we can say, if we take a bigger picture of this, is that um, objects that we like, objects of desire, whether it is people or objects, they are the ones we believe give us happiness.
Mhm.
Whatever it is that we desire, if we get that, that's what happiness is. In
Mhm.
fact, actually, all we are doing is pursuing happiness. We are running after happiness.
Mhm.
We have a desire in our mind. We want to follow that desire because we believe that by following that desire is when happiness, at the end of the desire is the happiness, right? In a way. So
Yeah.
even with your family, it's a for you the family is a source of joy because you love your family, you love your husband, you love your sisters-in-law. So that's why they are a source of joy for you, right?
Mhm.
So you're
Yeah.
following or you're going after something that you like,
That's right.
correct? So that is a way we all think uh, about happiness.
Mhm.
What that thing may be different, maybe for somebody that thing may be money, for somebody it may be property, whatever it is, but we all go after or a business. For Vidur it may be setting up a private practice, whatever it is, we go after what we like, and that is what we think is happiness. But actually Vedanta says this is we can parse this more, we can actually go deeper than this, because and in fact actually it says that the reality is that the desires only, if you really look at it, only lead to more desires. So, first, like I would, first when I'm young, I want a job, or I want to get into a good school, good college. And then I'd say, if only I could get into that good college, I'll be very happy.
Mm.
And I get into the good college, and then I say, okay,
They get the
if only I
job.
get a good job, right? Then I'm set for life.
Mm.
And then you get the job also, and
Then you want the house.
then you want a promotion, then you want a house, then you want a wife.
Mm.
Then you say, oh, I got my wife, but only if my wife was a little different. If she was a little bit less, if she could complain a little less, then life would be really good.
Mm.
And then you'd want a son or a daughter, only if you have children, right? So it just keeps going, and before long, you're 70 years old, as we all of us are 65 years old.
Then you want grandkids.
Then we want grandkids. So,
Doesn't
And
so
so,
Vedanta is saying, there is something more going on than this. It's not just. In fact, what it says is very interesting, and this is what I discussed with Vidur also last time in therapy. It says that the reason we feel happy for a while. So what is going on is we desire something. When we get that thing, actually we feel happy. If we get something that we desire, we do feel happy. The problem is it's only for a while. After that, a new desire comes, but we do feel happy. So what Vedanta is saying, which is really uh, it's a sort of a counterintuitive insight. Okay, it's difficult to understand, but it's saying that what gives you joy is a state of desirelessness. When your desire is met, for some time you are without desire for a while, and that's the joy. And then a new desire comes, and then you go running after that new desire, and then that is met for a while, you're happy. So happiness actually is a state of desirelessness, not a state of having a desire, which is very counterintuitive to everything that we have kind of learned and how we've grown up and so on. And I was talking to Vidur last time, and we were talking about, mental health. Because the other thing, and I'll tell you why, because other thing Vedanta says is the why is desire a problem? Desire is a problem because desire hijacks your thoughts. Like if you have a strong desire, you lose control of your thoughts. Your intellect, your buddhi can no longer dictate your thoughts. The desire dictates your thoughts. You get up in the morning, you're thinking about that object of desire, whether it is a person or a thing. Every free moment you get, the thoughts of the desire are crowding your mind. You go to sleep at night, before you sleep, you're thinking of the object of desire. So your buddhi should be the one which should decide what you have to think. Because the buddhi knows what's good for you. But instead the desire takes over. And the other problem about desire is that desire is also the flip side of desire is anxiety. So if you have a lot of desire and that desire is not being met, or you feel that the object of desire is being threatened, you are overtaken by anxiety. That is even worse. You have no choice anymore. Anxiety fills your mind. you know, there'll be a trigger point, something, and all your knowledge, everything will go by the window. You will be the object of anxiety or the source of anxiety will overtake your mind. And if desire is thwarted, you can also get anger. Because if something that you want, you perceive somebody is in the way of what I want, you get angry at the person. Then anger can take over yourself. So Vedanta or Gita, in fact, Gita कहते हैं राग क्या था वीत राग भय क्रोध. Like without rag, bhaya, and krodha. Rag is desire, bhaya is fear or anxiety, krodha is anger. Because it's saying that these three things are all related. Desire is the root cause. From desire can come anxiety, and from desire can come anger. They're all basically the same thing, manifesting in different ways. But it's the same thing. It's something which has overtaken your mind and has blocked the channel between your intelligence and your mind. Between the buddhi and the mind, the connection is broken now. because your mind. So क्या कहते हैं, instead of you leading your life will start leading you. That's what happens to us. So so that's what I discussed with Vidur, and he was telling me that, maybe I will ask you, Vidur. You're telling me about the thought patterns or what happens when you have mental issues, right? I think you were saying that a trigger happens and then you get into a pattern of thought. That thought pattern overtakes you. That's just exactly how you start thinking. And therapy means breaking that thought pattern, right? What was it? Tell me.
Yeah, so I guess depending on your methodology, that's one way to look at it is like the thought, there's a thought pattern that gets triggered, and usually what's underneath the thought pattern is like a core belief that there's something wrong or broken or incomplete about you. And then I think going back to what you were saying about desire, we think that the desire completes us. So when we get it, then like you said, we feel whole and like satiated for a while, but that doesn't last long because then there's another trigger. And then we think, oh, we need this. And we think like, I'm not good enough to get this, or what if I don't get this? If I don't get this, I'm nothing. And then it's just kind of a loop. So I think therapy helps you just notice because these all happen so automatically. They're so instinctual. I think therapy helps you notice them and then break them. And I think just the noticing and the pausing is like the biggest first step to say that this triggers these thoughts in me that I need this thing, and if I don't get this thing, um, I won't be happy. Or on the inverse, like I'm not good enough to deserve this thing, so I'll keep chasing it, but I'll never get it.
Yeah, I think you said it better than I did. Honestly, because this is exactly what Vedant is saying. It says that we don't, maybe to paraphrase, it says we don't know ourselves. We don't know our true nature. Because we don't know our true nature, we feel we are incomplete. In order to complete ourselves, we have these desires. These desires serve to complete ourselves, or we think that they are trying to complete ourselves. Then we run after them. We think that the desires will complete us, but nothing external can complete us. In reality, at the end of the day, it completes. We feel a feeling of completeness for a while. Then we again, because we don't know ourselves, we again have a feeling of incompleteness, and we have a new desire or a new anxiety or a new something there. So I
So
think,
this is obviously very higher form of understanding. So, but I really struggle with this one. And the reason why I struggle with this one is, if you don't push something, you don't make progress.
yes,
So if you just say that, okay, I have no desire and life will take me wherever, that doesn't work either
no,
because
no, no, no,
you know
absolutely correct, absolutely
you,
right.
and the concept of delta P, right? I mean, you have the greater the pressure, the more the flow. The greater the delta in your expectations, the more your creative thinking, what have you, to get to where you want to get to, and make progress in the world. I mean, if
See, I
like
I agree
Edison,
with. Go ahead.
if people like Edison didn't have that pressure of making that invention, 100 failures, and then you don't get there in terms of progress doesn't happen. So how do you reconcile with
Reconcile.
that?
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. So the first thing, in fact, I'm glad you brought it up because I was going to bring this up. We need to understand what desire means. But there's a the so in the way you think about it is there's a difference between desire and a wish or a preference. A desire, the way it's a technical definition, the way we define it is that I will not be complete till I meet that desire, right? That is a desire. But to say that I'm going to live this life without desires is not at all what Vedanta is saying. And what I want to sort of push back on what you said is what is the source of creativity? I think because I come from the same background as you do in India, where we say spare the rod and spoil the child. That is our background. We have been sort of led into thinking that it's only the pressure that causes creativity, that necessity is the mother of invention. Well, that is also, I mean, that if we don't have the pressure, there'll be no desire to create. Actually, what I have come to realize, and I think Gita also says the same thing, is that is not true. your happiness, a feeling of being happy, a feeling of being fulfilled, unleashes your creativity. So a person who writes music, a musician, will write his or her best music when he's not under pressure. So the kind of pressure which says, and the pressure, what are the pressure we're talking about? We're talking about the pressure of success. So, for example, if I feel that I am not going to succeed, I need to succeed, I have to do this. Like, I mean, I can give my own example. I knew when I had to become a partner in a consulting thing that, you know, I knew that I have to get these numbers, these sales numbers. So I ran after them because I was afraid if I don't get those numbers, I will not be able to make partner. What I would, yes, it's true that that motivated me to go the extra mile. But as a result, what I would end up doing is I will not take risks. I will not really get the most out of myself. All I think about myself is I need to be a partner. But what am I capable of? What is my real value? What will never be expressed because I'm so scared of results. I'm so scared that if I fail, I will not become a partner. I will not take the risks which I should take because I'm capable of them. So I will actually underplay myself because of the pressure of output of success. This is the really key insight of Gita, that if you stop thinking about results, you will achieve better results.
Yeah, they say that the less you want, the more you get. The more you want, the less you get.
That's another way to put it. And the reason is because if you're not under pressure for results, you will just go for it. you know, you'll do.
But Nitu, I have a question.
Yeah,
Not everybody has the drive to just go for it, okay? Whether it's
absolutely.
focused towards a goal or not focused towards a goal. When there's a goal post, then people will say, okay, I want this, just like, okay, I
Yeah.
want to be partner. But what we all have been led to think is that unless we think that we want to get there, we are not going to strive to get there. And so how do you think when you have no desire about that, how do you strive to do that?
No, 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 no. It's not. You can't force the desire. See,
No.
sometimes I'll tell you. I know people who. Well, I can take my own example. I was under so much pressure when I was young that I have to be successful, that I thought I have to do an MBA. So I pushed myself to do an MBA. I went to IIM, which is the best MBA school. I mean, I was good enough to get there. I was lucky enough to get there. If I had to do it all over again, personally, I would never go for an MBA.
Yeah.
That's not me.
Wait. Then
That's not me. So the pressure has forced me into a direction that is in the long run wrong for me. I could have I could have done something very, I mean, I'm so interested in Vedanta and Gita. I might have gone into therapy on psychotherapy. I could have done so many different things, but I never even thought of them because of this single-minded desire that I have to, I
prove
have
yourself.
to make money. I have to elevate myself.
Didn't that feeling, the Vedanta thing, come to you at a much later stage?
No, it was there,
At
right?
a
I mean,
younger age, you were more into music and fun
yeah.
things.
Well, I mean,
But
Vedanta
Vedanta
was
doesn't
always.
mean no fun.
I understand, but no, you're saying, I'm just
No, no, no,
saying
no,
that
no. I agree. Vedanta came later, but I'm just saying that is just an example that came to my mind.
example.
But I
Yeah.
could have done a lot of different things. But what I realized is that I am not a people manager. I'm not, my interest is not in creating and building a new company, right? My interest is not in managing a big corporation and being a CEO. Because when I actually reached a position where I could have done that, I chose out of it and literally walked away from those things. Because finally I said, I just want to do what I want to do. But that's what pressure can do to you. Pressure can lead you astray, and more than likely it will lead you astray. Whereas love and you know kind of an environment where you're feeling good about yourself, you're constantly feeling, yes, I am fine, I'm good, will take you towards your best potential. Whether that potential, how good it is, that depends on what God has given you. Some people will go very high, some won't, you know.
But
But
isn't it possible, though, that if you didn't have that desire, you wouldn't be where you are now? And perhaps because you realized your desire of that, you are now able to understand that that is not all what you wanted.
see,
Is it
okay, so
possible that
let's
because you
understand
achieved that, that you
what I
feel
mean
like,
by desire here, okay? If I want to, let's say I wanted to be a musician, right? That would be a desire.
mhm,
That desire is not what I'm saying is wrong. That desire is great. I need to actually identify that desire and follow it because that's what I want. The desire I'm talking about is of material things like money, uh, prestige, fame. Why has this desire come? This desire has come because, not because it's intrinsic to me, it's come because I felt underconfident. I felt I didn't have these things. To complete me, I needed these things. That's the desire. That's the problem of desire. So that's why Tony Bhaiya also raised this question. There's a difference between a genuine love for music that I may have, which is fine. That you have to follow, and that is what your life is. Follow and do your best at it without thinking about the results. Just go for it. I'm talking about a desire which you think is something you need to complete you. That without that thing, I am adhura. That's what Vidur was also talking about. Usually that's got to do with societal pressure. That's got to do with parental pressure, or it's got to do with you know peer pressure, right? It's got to do with a lack of confidence. That's what it's got to do with.
How do you
Whether
get that confidence at the age of 15?
yeah, so see, there are people at the age of 15 who are confident.
Yes, there are.
There are,
And yeah,
and why is it that there are people at the age of 15 or 17 who are not confident?
yeah. But
Because
majority is not confident, and
No,
there are
but
very few who are.
but that is huh?
why
So,
do you think some people are confident? Where does that come from?
so Meeta, this is sansar. This is why we need Gita. Because because the parents themselves don't know themselves. What they're teaching their children is also go after the things, go after success, because they don't know any better. The parents don't know any better. Parents say, I missed out, I don't want my son to miss out.
Mhm.
I would say, think about it another way. I missed out on not being able to follow my dream. I don't want my son to miss out on following my dream. I missed out by getting too influenced by money, status, position. I don't want my son to be influenced by money, status, position, because I now know that the source of happiness is not money, status, position. It's an actual true realization. It's not something that, oh, I should know. Money should not be a motivator. You have to live your life and look around and see that it is actually true. Only then when you know that it's actually true, will you actually say, okay, I'll do something different. Because all the time we are following what makes us happy. If we are just saying for lip service, money is bad, we will never follow it because deep down we know what makes me happy is a big house, right? So that's good, then do it. Then at least go for a big house because you think only if you go for a big house, you'll realize at the end of the day, oh, yeah, it didn't make me happy. If you don't follow your desire, whatever it is, you will never reach any understanding at all. So you got to follow your desires. But here, the hope is that now we are all old enough that we are at least able to question whether the way that we've been thinking is right or wrong. If you're able to question, then you're saying, okay, let me explore and see what else is there. Then you go to the
Nitya,
Gita, and
Nitya,
Gita
the
then tells you.
reason, Nitya, the reason we are able to question now because we have achieved that financial security, right?
Yes, yes,
Without that, do
absolutely.
you think we'll be able to think of all these things? No. So
No.
then, I understand that you don't want to be focused on money, 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 but without financial security, you can't even think of Gita and the other things because then you are struggling just for your
Okay, okay.
survival.
No, no, you think about what you're saying, okay? What is financial security? You have an idea in your mind, financial security means like $5 million or whatever. Someone else, somewhere else may have a very different idea of financial security. There's a lot
100,000.
of, huh?
It could be 100,000,
Yeah,
and they're financially
could be,
secure.
Just
It's a
could be,
function of how much you spend. Yeah.
yeah.
could be a lot.
Dal roti doesn't cost you very much, and you can be happy with dal
This
roti.
financial security is a feeling in your mind.
Mm.
It is unrelated to your actual wealth. We think that it is related to our actual wealth, but it is not. You see how when you started out, how much money you thought would be needed for financial security and what you think now,
Mm.
right?
Mhm.
What
Mhm.
you achieved, what you've reached is not a feeling of financial security. What you reach is a feeling that this is all money can give me. More money will not give me more happiness. You've
Mhm.
reached that feeling now.
Mhm.
Even if you had made $1 million less in your savings or $2 million less, you'd still have this feeling right now because you have reached that understanding. At this age, after these experiences, you've reached some understanding.
Mhm.
So I'm not saying that financial one should not be. I mean, Vidur is sitting here listening, so I want to be very careful. I don't want to tell Vidur, give up your, forget about your business, go on the road. Not at all. Not at all. What Gita says and what Vedanta says is be objective. Truly understand what is money for. Money is not without value. Money has a lot of value, but understand what its value is. On anything, whether it is money or your husband or your wife or your relationships or your friends, don't impose more value than they can give you. That's what Gita is saying. That's what Vivek means. That's what Viragya means. Viragya means Viragya means without rag. Rag is desire. So without desire means being objective. Viragya means being objective about the value of different things. So money can give you a very comfortable life. Money can give you a status in community. Money can give you access to do things which you want to do. Money can give you a lot of things. But if you're expecting money to complete you as a person, to give you a feeling, oh, I am whole, no, money won't give you that. If you're expecting money to give you tranquility and peace of mind, money won't give you that. The problem is we don't know any better. We don't know what else to go after if not money. That's the problem. That's why Gita starts by introducing the Dehi. It's so where I'm getting to with this is the Dehi is that is your true nature, which is the Dehi, is complete. It really doesn't need anything. We don't even know about our Dehi. We don't understand our Dehi. We don't understand our true nature. Therefore, we are looking everywhere and running around. If you understand, Gita's contention is if you understand your true nature, you understand Dehi, you understand what you are going to get from Dehi, you will be, your normal way of living, your natural way of living would be you'll be secure, you have desires and things that you want to do, you'll run after them without being interested in the results. You will do what you want to do and what you think is right without worrying and getting stressed about and anxious about the results. That is what will happen as a natural course for a person who understands the Dehi. The person doesn't have to do anything. This is a natural being. Karam
I,
Yoga says those things which are the natural way of acting of a jnani, if you try to do those till such time that you have that knowledge, try to do the same things using your will. Try to move yourself you towards those things. That is Karam Yoga. Karam Yoga doesn't ask you to do anything which a person who is knowledgeable, who understands his own nature, who is complete and full, would not do. And the other thing Gita says is right in the beginning of chapter 2, I mean, of the section on the Gita in chapter of Karam Yoga in chapter 2, it says the beauty about Karam Yoga is that it is not as if you are investing in something, that you will do this अभी मैं इन्वेस्ट कर रही हूँ, त्याग रही हूँ, बाद में मुझे फल मिलेगा. You will get the फल right there, right at that moment. You will get the benefit of the right thinking of Karam Yoga as you do it. And as you take one step, you'll get benefit. You take a second step, you'll get exponentially more benefit. That will motivate you to take the third step. It's not like I have to do all this, invest, and then after 10 years, I will get the benefit. The happiness and the contentment you will get along the way. So I don't know, I've kind of gone over the place. मैंने सोचा था मैं ऐसे ऐसे करूंगा, but I planned it all out in my mind. I just went.
Well, I think one thing that like I think about a lot is that like for better or worse, life is set up in a way that prevents us from understanding our true nature. Like
Absolutely.
if
Yeah.
we because like we're all to an extent we're all in survival mode. Like we all have to get through the day. We all have to check off certain boxes. And I think in the process of checking off those boxes, we go after things like money or promotions or financials like success. And then just because life is the way that it is, we think that that's what we need because literally we need basic needs. Like we won't survive without them. So I know, I think one thing that helps me is just understanding that like, not that I have like all the understanding, but just that life, for better or worse, is set up in such a way that in order to figure out your true nature or do these things, like you really have to like, it's like, turning like a
Around.
huge cruiser all the way around.
All the
Like
way
it
around.
requires
But
intentional
that's
action.
what is called samsara. It is that is why they say we are sort of in the, I don't know whether anybody you got a chance to read that article I sent. We are in the wheel. You can read it now. It will make more sense. The wheel of desire, the wheel of samsara, because that's what keeps us going in samsara. Because because everything in samsara is set up like that. That is why spirituality happens after, they say you have to go through your life in multiple cycles, not even one lifetime, multiple lifetimes. You have to go through this experience and that wheel again and again and again, and you suddenly one day you'll realize you're just spinning around in the same wheel, and then you look for something different, and then Gita can help you. So it's like very few people get uh, have during their lifetime think about this. Even a small percentage of those who think say, okay, I'm going to do something about it. A small percentage of them even start thinking about spirituality, whichever it is, whether it's Christian spirituality, mysticism, or whether it is, Sufi, or whether it is Vedant, whatever it is, they start thinking about it. A small percentage of them pursue it and reach the end, but it's a very, very, very small percentage. But that's how life is. But then so in any one janam, that is it. But then that's why we take so many janams according to Vedanta. I don't know about whether how true it is, but that is what Vedanta says.
Did you were saying something?
I was just going to say that, I mean, what you see around is the truth is that people who have money, status, position mostly are happy unless they are faced with some big health issue or whatever, right? So what people
No, I
think,
disagree.
That's
It's
No,
right.
no,
totally wrong.
not true.
Not at
one
all.
second,
Not
Yeah.
true.
that's what the normal person sees
That's the
outside.
outward appearance, right?
Yes, the
That's the
outward I'm saying the outward experience. No, none of us are looking internally within
Yes,
ourselves
right.
thus far. We are 70 years old and we are just beginning to look.
Yeah,
So what I'm trying to say is the normal person sees that, oh, he is happy because he has that status, he has that position, he's the king, he has friends, he has this, he has that, he has good clothes, he has this, that, and the other. That is the normal way we see the sansar.
right.
To realize what you are saying, well, okay, you can, and if I don't have the desire to be whatever I want to be in terms of going after material things, I may not realize that until there's a certain calamity or something in my life
Yeah,
which changes me around.
right.
Sometimes those are the things that changes your perspective on life.
Absolutely.
And so some people can go through life completely ignorant of what that real thing is,
Right.
unless there is something that has changed the radar in a certain direction.
You see, the way to think about it is, it's true that there are trigger points. right?
Yeah,
There's always a spark which lights the fire.
right.
But what you forget is that only on dried straw, dried wood, so to say, if the spark is thrown, it lights up. You need
Mm.
a spark, but if the wood is all wet, the spark will maybe fizzle out.
So that means that that mind has to be ready to receive that.
You have the fact that you're sitting here means that for a long time your straw has been drying, right? It takes a lifetime or many lifetimes to get your mind in a place of readiness where that little spark will finally set it aflame. I mean, think about it. Let's say we have a near death experience.
Mhm.
Two people can have a near death experience. One person can be transformed by it. Another person may fret about it for a day. इसको क्या कहते हैं शमशान वैराग्य. Every time we go to a shamshan, if somebody dies, for a day we have vairagya. We say ये क्या है जिंदगी में क्या है ये सब है. Then we are gone back, right? It's called shamshan vairagya. So for some people it's that, but for others it can change their life. What's the difference? That the same point of trigger will be, it's the person's readiness, right? Like you said. And as to rich person being happier than a poor person and all, that again, we learn over life. We learn through life. We have opportunities to interact with all kinds of people. Not only that, we have an opportunity to think about our own self too. Like, what is, if I think like this, that a rich person is happier than the poor person, what is my own mental makeup that is making me think like that? If I believe that money will make me happy, you'll only see happiness in the rich people. That's what that you will discount the unhappy. You won't even see the unhappiness. You will only see the happiness because that's your core belief. And what Vedant is saying is that core belief is because you actually don't know yourself. The reality is that the source of our joy is our own self. So let me tell you one more thing about this. It's a very well-known Vedantic concept. It's called Anand Mimamsa. Okay, it means in an Upanishad in Vedant, it's called a Taittiriya Upanishad. Usme they have it's this chapter is very well known because it is a wonderful sort of exploration into happiness. Okay, into the cause of happiness. So what it says is, I'm going to just simplify it. It says that the our own self, our dehi, is complete and happy. Our mind reflects that happiness. It reflects the dehi like a mirror. But our mind is not a perfect mirror. It has impurities on the mirror, on the surface. We have all these desires, they're kind of impurities. We have all these anxieties, all these things, they are like impurities. So when you look into a mirror or you see the world reflected through a mirror, it's a dirty mirror, right? And you don't know that the mirror is dirty. You'll see a dirty world. So then you'll say, oh, this world is dirty. So you'll go about trying to cleaning the world. How can I make it cleaner? And you'll keep doing it. And you say, why is it not getting clean? Maybe sometimes it's clean, sometimes it's not, depending on the reflection of the mirror. Till one day you realize it's a mirror which is dirty. Then your focus will become, I'm not concerned about the world anymore. I just want the mirror to be pure. I want to clean my mirror. When you have that focus, that it's not the world which is bad or good or bad, I want to clean my mind, which is the mirror, that is the start of Karma Yoga. That is Karma Yoga. When you know that that is your objective, that I don't really care about everything else, I know that to see my Dehi properly, I need a clear mind. When you know that, then all you'll be concerned with is cleaning up your mind. Everything you do, the intention behind it will be, how do I make myself pure? How do I get rid of my impurities? if you look at it from this perspective, what Gita says, don't worry about results, you'll say, absolutely, I don't give a damn about the results, about the external results. The only result that matters to me is how can I purify my mind? It will become, Karma Yoga becomes very simple and very natural when you have that focus. When you don't have that focus, Karma Yoga becomes, oh, how can it happen? How can anybody do this? Not worry about results. It is so difficult, right? That is how we will think. So in Gita, Karma Yoga is often called as Buddhi Yoga because it's about knowledge. With the right knowledge and the right attitude, Karma Yoga is the most natural thing. So that's why that's why it's important to understand this, that the source of knowledge, the real source of joy, is within ourselves. And you know what? It is impossible. Just because I'm saying it, you're not going to agree. You may agree right now, but you won't. You step out of this session and we'll be back. But just observe. That's why Karam Yoga is important. You just observe. See, for now that I've told you this, now see the world. Try to see whether it is actually true or not. Try to look around and see, are the rich people really happy? Are the healthy people really happy? Are the partying people really happy? What is happiness? What is tranquility? You'll start seeing the world differently. I mean, I'm telling honestly. So so one of the things that Karma Yoga says is this reflection. A person who has this idea in his head that the source of happiness can be me. I'm not convinced that it is. If I'm convinced that it is, then I'll become a jnani. Then I've become a pandita, and sorrow is gone. Right? That first line you remember?
Or Nitu, you may be convinced, but you just haven't figured out how to implement it.
That is again. So you may be convinced intellectually.
Intellectually, but
So
doing it is a different deal.
no, you don't do it because of habits. Like a doctor,
Yeah,
if that was straight, a doctor knows smoking is bad. No doctor would ever smoke, right?
yeah, yeah.
Why do doctors smoke? Because habits are there. These are, like Vidur was saying, thought patterns.
Hmm.
We have a thought pattern. That thought pattern takes over.
Yeah.
So
Very difficult to
whatever our
break it.
brain says,
So how do you break that thought pattern?
that is
That's
Karma Yoga. Yes, absolutely. So I was going to get into that.
Yeah.
So that is what Karma Yoga is. Karma Yoga is saying that I understand, or I'm willing to admit that the source of happiness may be myself. I'm willing to admit it, but I still am run by my thought patterns. So to take you from a point where you're willing to admit and are still subsumed by thought patterns to a point where you're convinced that indeed your happiness comes from you and you have control over your thought patterns so that you can do what your buddhi dictates, not what your mind dictates. That journey is Karma Yoga. And a person who is undertaking that journey is a Karma Yogi. So if you really want to get the benefit of the Gita, you have to say, I am a Karma Yogi. I may take my time. There is no stipulation that journey has to be completed in a year or in 5 years or even in this lifetime. As long as you're willing to take the next step, you're a Karma Yogi.
So we are all Karam Yogis then.
We are all Karma Yogis.
I'm
Absolutely.
sitting down and listening to you.
But that is one
You're
part
due
of
to.
it.
You're due.
One part of it is,
Mm.
so there are two parts to Karma Yoga. One part of it is the way Gita defines it. One part of it is listening to scriptures, which is basically listening to this philosophy or gaining this knowledge. That's one part of it. That's often called Gyan Yoga, right? Gaining that knowledge.
Right.
And the other part of it is doing certain things, like, for example, doing anything you're doing with this intention of purifying yourself. So you don't have to necessarily do one thing. whatever you do with the knowledge or intention of purifying yourself will become karma yoga. So for example, reflection. Many teachers say that spend 15-20 minutes at the end of every day. Just see, let the day pass by what you did. See the points where you got upset, or you got angry, or you got sad. Look at those important points in the day when some of these things, when events happened, or you got very happy too, and reflect back on them and see how you behaved. Right? Just just that reflection will uh, will start to will give you insight. You'll start, because nobody actually does that. We don't actually look back and see. And then other than that, there are a plethora of tools which are available. Bhakti, Ishwar Arpan Buddhi, meditation, all of these things, they're all there. Upasanas, they're all tools for you to use depending on your nature. Some people prefer to meditate, others just reflect more, others may say, I want bhakti, that is my way. But these are all tools, depending on whichever works for you, you choose. But at the end of the day, your intention is to purify yourself. So one of the biggest, the most interesting tool that Karam Yoga, sometimes people call that Karam Yoga, is how to approach your work. Like if you approach your work with an attitude of saying, ये ईश्वर के लिए है,
Mhm.
and whatever comes to you as a result, ये ईश्वर का प्रसाद है, that's a tool to help you um, sort of, overcome your desires gradually. By desire, I don't mean, Tony bhai, I don't mean your passion. I don't mean, that's not what I mean. By desires, I mean things that you want to do because you feel without it, I'm incomplete. An expression of your own self is not a desire.
So if the passion is money and wealth, then what do you do?
Then you better explore. Then you do the study to find out, is it really so?
I'm a Karam Yogi.
Yeah.
Because how can anybody be passionate about money? Like piece of paper.
You can be passionate about anything, right?
Yeah, but I mean, if indeed that is what it is, just theoretically.
Elon Musk is probably.
Huh?
No, he's not into money.
No, actually, he's more into.
Solving the problems of the world.
Yeah.
Who?
Well,
That's some friend of
Oh, you
yours.
think?
Elon Musk.
Oh, Elon Musk. Yeah, Elon Musk is a true Karam Yogi.
Yeah, he is.
He really is.
Yeah.
He didn't, he went after his. Who would go to
Okay.
say, I want to go to Mars?
Mhm.
Who can have the the chance, the sort of who can dare to put his money behind a mission like this, which
Well, he
has
took the wrong
2%,
path.
2% chance of success. No, okay. The difference I take back. The difference between a Karam Yogi and somebody else might be that if if Elon Musk truly understands that his real joy is from himself, that he is complete, then he is a Karam Yogi. But if he doesn't, if he's saying, I want to come across the world as the biggest entrepreneur, I just want to take risks, and his motivation is how he is impressing everybody, then he's not a Karam Yogi. So you can never tell by what he's doing. But I'm just saying, you can't even assume. You really don't know. You can't know just by looking from the outside what is the state of mind of a person,
Mhm.
right? So if you're happy and tranquil and at peace with yourself, that's the hallmark of a Karma Yogi. What you're doing around you doesn't really matter. Whether you're sitting on a couch, which Gita will never advise, or working to yourself to the bone, which Gita does advise. Work very hard. वो जो है ना, कर्म की चिंता मत कर, उसमें उसमें 3 पार्ट्स हैं उस श्लोक में. The third part is that don't be attached to laziness, karma. That's the third part of the shlok, which nobody reads. Everybody's just talking about the, don't be attached. But Gita says, don't be attached to the results, but please work hard. That also Gita says. That nobody likes to read. So it says actually, if you're not attached to the results, you will work hard. You know.
No, Nitu, I want to take it the other way.
Uh,
Don't work hard so that you don't get attached to the results. That that's my philosophy from now on.
Don't work hard.
You mean you're using work as an escape mechanism?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean from now, Rupa?
ये उनमें रिटायर होना ना उनमें काम नहीं करना
ये पहले काम करते थे?
थोड़ा बहुत
Nitu, I really struggle with this concept of, and we've discussed this before, and you sort of said that that's okay, but we still use the words, don't worry about the results. I think I want to make sure that it's clear in my mind. Don't worry about the results from a negative aspect, but you do have to worry about results, but don't let those results drive your unhappiness or drive you to do incorrect things.
Yes. So
Right, but you still have to worry about results.
Of course, I mean, let's say you're a CEO and you have to make investments, right? You have to think about where you should allocate your money, in which way you should allocate your money, because you have to see probability of results, all that. Absolutely.
Yeah, you have to do all that. It's
Yes,
just don't let that make a negative thing out of you. You just keep evolving till you get there.
Yes. Don't think that your own happiness, your own completeness depends upon those results. That's
Agreed.
all. That
Okay.
is it. So that is what desire is. That's what results is. Because the reason why we don't want to worry about results is to say those results are not going to define you.
Yeah.
Right? You should know already that you are Dehi. You are complete.
But the world tries to do that to you.
Of course. Because they themselves
try
they
to
do
do
that
that.
to themselves too. Nobody who doesn't do it to himself will ever try to do it to you.
Yeah.
Even your parents will do that to you, who are your biggest benefactors, because they do it to themselves. That's why they will do it to you. If your parents know that that is not the way to act, if they are acting in a different way, they will try to help you act in that way. People actually truly believe, 99.99999% of the people truly believe that results is what makes us happy. Success is defined by results. That what I make, how much money I have, what kind of status I have, what I do, even the good things that I do, like donate, daan karo, ye karo, wo karo, they are all results. Like अच्छे काम करो, that will make you. So we people actually believe it. They want others, including their children, to do those things. So, but you're right, Tony Bhaiya, and you're right to question it. And this is something we must know. It's nothing here is saying that you should do anything differently. Nothing. Actually, मैं आपको बताता हूँ, this will come in the next lesson now, whenever we actually get into the Gita. In chapter 3, at the end of chapter 2, Arjun was very confused. It's kind of like what you're saying. He said to Krishna Bhagwan, you're telling me all this. Phal ki chinta mat kar, karam yo, kaam mat kar, ye mat kar, wo kar. Like, knowledge is the main thing. He said, you're telling me knowledge, self-knowledge is all that matters. So he said, I actually want to do that. I want to pursue self-knowledge. I want to be a sannyasi. I want to give up all this and I want to just pursue self-knowledge. And Krishna Bhagwan said, no, you have to do everything that you're doing, the same things you have to do. You have to fight. You cannot be lazy, you have to fight. Arjun still didn't get it. In the next chapter, again, he asked the same question. In the next chapter, again, he asked the same question in a different way. He asked this question 5 times during the course of the Gita because he just couldn't get it. He said, how can it be that you're telling me, on the one hand, self-knowledge is what matters, and then you're saying work? Like, what is this? So, the first 6 chapters of the Gita, actually, first 5 chapters, are all about this. They're all about trying to tell you what it means to work and not work. So, like for example, what it means to know the difference between tyag. What does tyag mean? What does sacrifice mean? So he says that tyag doesn't mean that you leave everything behind and go into the mountains. Tyag means that you do everything, but you give up the ownership. That's the tyag. If you go to the mountains and you still feel like an owner and you still feel I'm the controller, I do everything, that's not a tyag. It's just a change of geography. But if you do the whatever you're doing and you give up ownership, that is what tyag is. You do what you're supposed to do, what your duty is, what your desire not in a not in the way I described it, but desire in terms of what your calling is. You do what your calling is, right? Do it, but give up ownership. Ownership is the one that gives you this anxiety about results. Ownership says if results are bad, I am bad. If results are good, I am good. That distinction is what is the problem. You want to achieve results, sure, and say, oh yeah, good. See, we've achieved good results, but realize the ownership that it's not just you who has achieved those results. Your intellect has achieved them. Your circumstances have achieved them. There's an influence of a lot of different things. And if something bad also happens, that is also because of a lot of different things which have influenced, not just you. You didn't choose your brains. You didn't choose your DNA, right? It's your subtle body, it's your physical body, which is doing a lot of things. And physical body and subtle body is connected with the rest of the universe. All this is happening. So you are doing your part by doing your calling. So when you have this understanding, that is what ownership means. That is what it means to be a non-doer, to be sacrifice or whatever जैसे कहते हैं ना, that's what it is.
So to remove the I-ness from it.
Yes, to remove exactly the I-ness or the ownership. The I-ness, your I-ness, nothing will happen to it. That is whole already. That is fine. That is the Dehi. That I-ness, whether you do work or you don't do work, that is not going anywhere. Whether you are alive or dead, it's not going anywhere. That I-ness is there. That's why Gita has spent so much time telling you about this in the beginning. That I-ness, Dehi, that's the I-ness. It's just it
When we
it
do
is
bad things,
releasing, huh?
when we do wrong things,
Yeah.
you said we get the fall of it, right? But when
Yes.
we die, we get rid of this deha. So that means we should have gotten rid of all the stuff
But you don't get
because
rid of your
the dehi
subtle
is
body.
pure, right? Dehi
Yeah.
is pure.
See,
So
yeah. Dehi is pure, right?
yeah.
But so you get rid of the deha, but you don't get rid of the subtle body. The subtle body continues through different lifetimes. That's what accrues the results. So this is the thing to understand. As long as you are not going into the depths of Vedanta and saying I'm the Dehi, all these things are very important. Did I get the results? I mean, like karam kar phal ki chita. Well, not kar, it says जो भी तुम करोगे उसकी तरह का आपको result मिलेगा आगे, right? As long as Gita goes in stages. So for many people uh, who are first introduced to Gita, the concept of I am the Dehi is very foreign. You don't think in terms of I am the Dehi. You think in terms of I am Mita.
Mhm.
Then it says the first step is, okay, if you are Mita, just remember that this Mita has multiple lifetimes. And Mita will say, Mita is always worried.
Is Mita the subtle body or is Mita the outer physical body?
Outer
So
physical
I
what
body.
mean,
first,
when we talk about
yes. So when you go to the Gita, you think Mita is the physical body.
Mhm.
The first thing it tells you is, no, you're not the physical body, you're the subtle body.
Mhm.
Right? It will not tell you that you're the Dehi if you go to Vedanta, right? It's just saying you're the subtle body.
Subtle
It's
body.
telling you to expand your horizons, not if you were the physical body, your horizons are this world.
Yeah. Mhm.
70, 80, 90, 100 years that you live here. Right?
Mhm.
That's all you know. Mita
Mhm.
starts. Mita started in 1956 or whatever. And
Mhm.
whenever 2056, Mita's gone.
Mhm.
Whatever that is. That is all you think about. When your horizon is like this, you can't all you'll think about it is in this life. I'll do good now, some benefit should happen to in this life. I'll do bad now, the bad thing should happen in this life. Right? That is what you will think.
Mm-hmm.
If I tell you you do good now, but after 200 years you'll get benefit, you'll say, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not there. Right? You're just in this physical body. A lot of Americans or Westerners might think like that. So the first thing it tells you is, okay, don't think that you're the physical body, you're the subtle body. The moment you think you're the subtle body, now your horizon has gone way high. You say,
Mm-hmm.
okay, maybe I do something good now as a subtle body. I may not get a good benefit right now in this physical body. In my next physical body or the next after that, I will get something good. For you, then, when you're thinking about yourself as a subtle body, the law of karma is very important. The law of karma guides your actions. Because law of karma says, अभी नहीं तो बाद में, अगले जन्म में, अगले जन्म में. You can only think of अगले जन्म if you think of yourself as subtle body. You get that?
Yeah. So then the subtle body and the Dehi travel together?
Yes. So you can say, so okay, so if you're thinking about yourself as a subtle body, then you're
Mhm.
saying, I have a Dehi also.
Mhm.
My Dehi travels with me. Right? As long as you're thinking about yourself as a subtle body.
Mhm.
First, I want you to understand this. Do you understand that for you to believe in law of karma, you have to
Yeah.
at least think of yourself as a subtle body?
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? Because if you're a physical body, you're gone. Right? So
Mhm.
law of karma means nothing to you. There's no
Yeah.
next, but there's no next janam. The
Yeah.
moment you say there's a next janam, you are automatically thinking of yourself as a subtle body.
Mhm.
Right? You may
Yeah.
not have realized this, but that's what you're thinking. You're
Yeah.
thinking that there's a soul or something which will travel. Correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Then law of karma becomes very important. Because अच्छा मैं अभी काम अच्छे काम करूंगा, you can remember so many people are our own parents and grandparents and all, they all said we want to, जाते वक्त भगवान का नाम लो, राम का नाम लेके जाओ. क्यों? क्योंकि अगले जन्म में फिर आपको फल मिलेगा. So you're thinking of yourself as a subtle body, but you're still thinking of yourself as the one who is doing the action and who is getting the results. You want good results because results are important, and that's why you do good actions. Correct? So
Mhm.
far, so good.
Yeah. Mhm.
So this is the first step.
Yeah.
Then Vedanta is saying, no, you're not even the subtle body. You are the Dehi. And the Dehi is neither born nor dead.
Mhm.
It neither acts nor benefits. The Dehi is complete in itself. When you think about yourself as the Dehi, if you think about yourself as the Dehi, the law of karma is meaningless to you. Because it's not important whether the result is good or the result is bad. You are complete. Results don't matter.
But if
You
you're
are complete.
suffering, then the results, I mean, then if
Then
you are suffering, then how can you be happy or how can you be complete?
well, if you are a Dehi, you won't suffer. If you know that you're a Dehi, right? And I'm just saying concept. I know it's hard for us to understand. Imagine this, but
Yeah.
just try to understand it conceptually.
Yeah.
That if you think that you're the Dehi, then the suffering kiski hai? Of the subtle body. Death kiski hai? Of the physical body. तुम्हारी तो नहीं है. तुम तो देही हो.
Then the law of karma is not important.
Not
But then
important. Law of karma is important for the subtle body. Not for you. You are the Dehi. You are happy all the time. You're content all the time. Whatever happens, you are full. Your fullness itself.
The law of karma is not that important.
No, no,
I
Didi.
may do bad things
Yes,
and
yes,
still my Dehi is.
but you before you say this, first you say, are you convinced that you're the Dehi? If you are convinced you're the Dehi, then you have every right to say the law of karma is not important.
But you got it. No, you already got the law of karma in order to think that you're Dehi.
Yeah,
Got it.
totally. But I'm saying that this is as of today. I'm just projecting out.
Yeah.
As of today, the best that we can hope for, the best that you can hope for is to think of yourself as a subtle body.
And subtle body. Yeah.
yeah.
That is a big thing in itself. To
And
think
the
of
causal
yourself as
body
a
too.
Dehi. Huh?
The causal body too.
The causal body ki hai.
A causal body, you forget about the causal body for now because it goes with the subtle body. There's no, it is called the causal body because वहाँ पे सारे कर्मास होते हैं. So it just
Mm.
calls it separately. But there are other reasons too why they are separate. But for our purposes, don't confuse yourself with it. Causal body also dies or not with the subtle body. So as of now, the best you can do is think of yourself as the subtle body. But Gita is saying that the destination, our aim, is to understand, whether you think of it or not, think की बात नहीं है इसमें, to understand that what you really are the Dehi.
Yeah.
Now, this understanding is not easy. First, you have to understand it intellectually, which itself is a challenge. As you can see, we've spent all these classes and we are all confused, right? So, that itself is a challenge. Then, realizing it deep down that that is true is an even bigger challenge. So, that realization, वो जो होती है, that is the end point. That is what is called moksha. That is what is called, liberation. As of now, you just go by trust, go on faith. कि गीता कह रही है कि you are the Dehi. So you're saying, okay, ठीक है, गीता कह रही है. But that's all it is. What you can do at the moment is to say you're a subtle body. That much you can understand because the sense of me is not displaced. The me is not gone anywhere. The sense of me as a separate me has not gone. When you say I'm a Dehi, the sense of me as a separate me goes. वो क्या कहते हैं इन सूफी फना कुछ था ना कि अपने आप को फना कर दिया या क्या कहते हैं that's what happens your ego gets burned, your ego is gone. That's what it means from a perspective of, because you're when you say I'm a Dehi, that means you're an Atma. There's only one Atma, whether it's Mita's Atma, my Atma, your Atma, or Trump's Atma, or Ravan's Atma, they're all the same. Duryodhan's Atma. You're basically saying I'm that. So this ego, the separateness is gone. That is a very difficult thing right now. That's why I say, at the moment, just, भगवान जी ने, कृष्ण भगवान ने शुरू करी गीता इससे. So that's what we are saying. That's why we said, but at the moment, just take it on faith. Do you understand or not? You have any questions about it?
Subtle body, like you said, is important to think of yourself as a subtle body because then you will believe the law of karma.
Absolutely.
That things that we do today are going to affect us in some way, and that will lead us to do the proper things.
Right.
Yes, that is
Right?
absolutely right. That
So-
you have to think about yourself as a subtle body because,
But
yes,
to guide us during this life.
to guide us during this life with the knowledge that what you do today, rightly, do something right today. Even if
Yeah.
you're not getting the result of it this life, do it the right way. To guide us
Exactly.
towards that, you have to think about yourself as a subtle body.
Subtle body.
Maybe it's
But
only
when
that.
you are
Maybe it's
really
just
high up, then you are then which we will probably never reach in this
no,
life.
no, 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 no. Don't say that. We have only started. We've only started on the Gita, right? You will reach if you read the Gita and understand it. You will reach. So I'm just saying that as of now, if you try to imagine yourself as the Dehi, it will be too much. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So as of now, let's leave it to the subtle body because a lot of what Gita has been saying, a lot of psychology, psychotherapy, everything we're talking right now, desires, happiness, do the right thing, ye kar, wo kar, it's all because we are a subtle body.
Yeah.
If we said we are a Dehi, then you would say all these things are meaningless. क्यों करो? Right? Tony भैया कह रहे हैं कि I want to follow the desire to become better. Who? Tony भैया wants to become better, right? If Tony Bhaiya says, I want to become better, not somebody else, that means Tony Bhaiya is thinking of himself as, at best, a subtle body. Maybe a physical body, maybe a subtle body. But he's thinking of himself as different from other bodies around, which is how we always think. Right? So, a lot of the things about Gita, when it comes to Karam Yoga, are focused on how to make yourself as a. There are two things. One, think of yourself as a subtle body, not just a physical body. And second, make yourself pure. Make your mind pure. Why? because only that mind, which is pure, can eventually understand its own reality as a Dehi. So, so this is a journey. Not only that, it will understand its own reality as Dehi, वो तो है ही, उसके अलावा that mind will also become tranquil. So another big advantage is that the mind will become tranquil. A pure mind is a tranquil mind, peaceful, contented mind. So pure कैसे करते हैं? Removing the impurities. Impurities क्या है? This feeling of incompleteness, this feeling of anxiety. Anxiety also comes from incompleteness. All these things you remove. How do you remove them? For that, Karma Yoga is there. Vidur, is it too? I know. Is it too much? Am I going too fast? Are you
No,
following?
no, no. I think like I think this is like very specific to my kind of lens, but I think the way I'm hearing it all is that like life is inherently hard, life is inherently traumatic, and so as a result, we have to survive and we have to have desire, like the kind that you're saying is not the ideal kind. And we have to strive for things that we think will make us complete because that's the way it's all set up.
Yes.
And then hopefully we get to a point where we've met those needs and then we can say, okay, I had to do that up until this point. Now I can shift into a different mindset. Whether that's like subtle body, whatever the terminology is, I think it would differ depending on your school of thought. But the way that I look at it is life is inherently full of like maybe hopefully not full, but there's an inherent amount of suffering in life. We have to do what we have to do to get through that. Hopefully then we get to a point where we can think a little bit more big picture. And so I think like as a therapist, the way I help a client with that is like if I have a client who grew up in a environment where there was a lot of conflict and a lot of violence and they couldn't show any kind of vulnerability or any kind of like fear, then they would project this kind of coldness or this dominance because they think that that's what they need to do to survive. So I would help them say, that was your life as a child. You had to do that to stay alive. You don't have to do that anymore. Let's work on ways that we can help you shift your thought processes. So I think I'm looking at what you're saying in kind of through that lens where life requires us to do things that maybe the Gita wouldn't tell us to aspire to, but hopefully we get to a point where we can pause and say, okay, now I can recalibrate my mindset.
Yeah.
विदित तो already पहुंचे है.
Really.
You know, when just as a
Very
anecdote,
well said,
whatever,
Vidit.
when Sula cries or when Dash cries, and when I tell them, no, don't cry, I tell them, no, 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 it'll be fine. You don't have to cry. And Rashi says, no, it's okay for them to show their emotions.
Mhm.
Let her do it. It's fine. And so it's kind of very strange to me.
Mhm.
But when Vidur is saying that it is okay to not, not be stoic and just be like
Yeah.
aloof, that makes sense to me now, because every time I tell her, Sula, don't cry, or Dash, it's okay. Dash is, Mom, no, it's okay. It's okay for them to do it. It's like, really? Okay, fine, But maybe that's
Vidur made a point about the fact that you go through life and then there comes a certain point where you
Yeah.
get the maturity that this is not all it is, and that's when you want to learn. But what I'm hearing Nitu say is that you don't have to get to that point to realize that you can learn this earlier in life. I don't know, Nitu, did I get that
No,
wrong?
no, yeah, no. I
Only if
agree
you're
with Vidur.
inclined
No,
to,
no,
right?
no. I'm saying the fact that you're here today,
Yeah,
that you are interested in learning the Gita.
yeah, yeah.
You're interested in getting a perspective which is a little different, right? That means that you have already achieved some of that maturity.
True, maybe we have, but what I heard you saying was, see, this is what I was saying, that you get to a point where you feel, yeah, I've done all the stuff that I needed to do or wherever I needed to be, whether it was motivated by the right kind of passion or the wrong kind of desire. I am hearing you say that as a child too, we don't have to train our children to say,
Absolutely. Yes, yes. Now I
have to
understand what
get
you're saying.
there to be able
Yes,
to
yes.
get to the next
Okay, okay.
point, understand the
I see
basics.
what you're saying. See, what happens is you will never get to a point where you'll say, okay, I've done everything I had to do. Actually, when Vidru was saying that, I also noticed that difference. Vidru, that will be the one thing I would say differently, which is you think that you will get to a point
Yeah,
where I would have done everything. Now I can do something else.
right.
But that never happens.
Yeah, no, I think I've probably stated that wrong. I think the reason why therapy exists is that people feel like they're still in the place where they have to live that way, but
Yes.
that isn't congruent anymore.
Isn't
It's not working anymore.
it's not true.
And
Yeah.
then therapy helps you say maybe you don't have to think that way anymore. But
So
yeah, I think
same
you're
thing,
right. You don't get to a point.
exactly what Didi. So we have all lived this life. We have some goals of ours we have met, some goals we have not met.
Right.
That will always be the case. But if you look back, we have met a lot of goals. And what we are finding is it's not really made a difference. You look back, were you less happy when you were growing up as a child than you are today? You may not think about it, but some there is some amount of um, a feeling that whatever I've been doing has not been working. I keep telling myself that, okay, if only I can get this, then it'll work. If
But do
only I
we
can
have
do
to get
this.
to that point to realize that? What I heard you say before was we are teaching our children that same value. Hey, go get that, be there, be a CEO, be a big doctor, be this, be that. Whether it's their desire or not, we are still training them to do that. We are not making them realize, go for what you want.
Yeah, that is not
That is
right.
what I heard you say.
Yes, no, no, no. I'm sorry. I don't see. I agree with you that today itself we should tell our children only if we ourselves are convinced we will tell our children that follow your passion. If we are not what what you'll find is what you're telling your children is what you actually believe. What you say you believe, you can be fooling yourself. But what you tell your children will be actually what you believe. So if you actually believe that the right thing to do is to not worry about results that much, but follow your passion, let's say, that is what you will tell your children. But if you're just saying this, we all do, just saying it because it's the right thing to say, but deep down you don't really believe it. That's not what you will tell your children. You want you want the best for your children, even more than what you want for yourself. You want for your children. So yes, I mean, if you actually believe, if you actually think that what Gita is saying is right or all these things are right, then that is what you will tell your children. It's not that you will tell them, right now you follow right now become successful. After you become successful, then you can follow the Gita. No, that means you don't believe it yet,
That's right.
right? That means you don't believe it because it doesn't,
True,
you're not, yeah. So if you really believed it, you're not going to tell your children, first you do this. Why? I mean, if I have to live my life again, I'm not going to say, first I want to achieve all this, and then I will do this. I'm going to say, start right from the beginning, I'll do it differently. Part of the reason why I have done things the way I've done is because of the influence of my parents and my grandparents and everybody around me who've told me, ऐसे करना चाहिए. Everybody told me, IIM, the way to go. Even my friends, oh, if I get into IIM, I will have such a reputation among my friends, they'll think I'm so intelligent, right? That's a pretty I mean, now I look, it's a
Common way to
pretty
think.
a sad reason
It
to
may be sad,
go to
but
IIM.
like you said, 99.99% feel that way.
Yeah.
Yes, but do you feel that way? That's the
Yeah.
question. What do you feel?
To me, it seems the best way is what you just said, which is follow your passion, but with a caveat, help them discover their passion. Because
Yeah.
a lot of people say follow your passion, but they can't figure out what their passion is.
No, no,
And
of course,
they're in
100%.
graduate school and they still haven't figured out what their passion is.
Yes,
So
yes.
it is you got to figure out what your passion is. Give them experiences, give them different routines, etc., so that they can discover what that passion is without telling them you should be a doctor, you should be an engineer, you should be at this or you should be at that.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Because, you can't assume maturity if it is not there yet.
Yeah.
So it takes time for maturity to come, and you can't, that's totally right. But I think you don't even have to do anything. Children, I think they don't even follow what we tell them. They just see us. They know, instinctively, they know what we value. And they go for that because they all want to be valuable in their parents' eyes. That's what I've learned from Vidur.
But Nitu, on the other hand, I'll tell you my personal example. You know, I did my high schooling, and my father was an engineer, so becoming an engineer was the deal. My father goes around, meets professors at different schools, and he says chemical engineering is the best thing to do. So I go do chemical engineering. Well, in hindsight, that hasn't turned. Was it my passion? I had no clue that was my passion. I didn't know what chemical engineering was. I was just doing it because that's what everybody around me was telling me to do, just like what you're saying, go to IIM, etc. But it turned out to be okay. So now what I don't know is that if I had actually truly found my passion, which I hadn't found at that time, obviously, because if I had known what my passion was, I would have done that. I just did this, and it's okay.
Yeah, but those times are different, right?
No, I mean, no, times are not. It's the same.
But-
No, no, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Because you'll never,
It's
Yeah,
just
you don't.
you will never know.
yeah.
This was
You
Yeah.
did what was right at that time. How you thought about it, right? You follow the. It's not so much. This is just an example or an illustration. The main thing is at this point in time, right? How do you feel about your aims for the rest of your life?
yeah,
What is your goal for the rest of your life?
yeah,
Right? That is the idea.
yeah,
So, is your goal, what is the best goal for you to have for your own happiness? That's what Gita is asking you to think.
yeah, yeah. And that's what we are here for, really.
That's what we are here for. Exactly.
We're here for.
Right? Now, the only thing I was saying was we can think like this without confusion and in a clear way as long as we realize we are a subtle body or physical body. The moment I tell you, let's say in the next class or lecture or session, that you are the Dehi and the Dehi doesn't care, then we will all get confused.
Yeah.
Right? Because then it's like then we are confused.
That's
And
why I said that then law of karma doesn't apply.
doesn't
No
apply.
law
Exactly.
applies.
Nothing applies, right? So I just want to set this up for you that you are going to have this confusion for some time till you truly and properly understand how the Dehi and the subtle body operate together. This is a this is a problem unique to Advait Vedanta. Not even to other forms of philosophy or other Vedantas, it's unique to Advait Vedanta. Because Advait Vedanta is the only philosophy which has gone deep enough to say that there is one unity, there is one thing, common thing amongst everything. There's one substance amongst everything. So if there is one substance amongst everything, and that is what you are, then what about this? How can we think about the differences? So I'm just letting you know that because you've already faced the confusion, you will face it again. It will. I also faced it. Everybody faces it till we get to the end and we truly, we've kind of our minds have started understanding. We will face this confusion. So, but the good thing is that for now, till the Karma Yoga, for the next few sessions at least, we are going to forget about the Dehi. Our focus is going to be on us as a subtle body, which is doing things, and what are and how to do those things. What is the right attitude to do those things? That's the focus of Karma Yoga. How can I do those things so that I can purify myself? So we'll talk more about it at the next time. So like I said, you have multiple tactics, multiple tools, reflection, meditation, Ishwar Arpan Buddhi, this kind of thing, which we'll talk about next time. Dhyan, there's so many things. Psychotherapy. Therapy is a big one. If you are really, really deep in anxious anxiety, you have so much anxiety that you can't even think about this, that it's crowding your mind. Anxiety is crowding your mind. None of these Vedanta things will work. You have to go for therapy. It's like I say Ayurveda versus allopathy medicine. When you have an acute problem, don't wait for Ayurveda. Just get your surgery done. you know, go to allopathy. So this is here we are talking Ayurveda here. So if you have issues like huge anxiety, let's address them. But as a Karam yogi, you're responsible for your own mind and your own body and to do what is needed to make it healthy so that it can become purer and purer and grow and grow. right?
Okay, I think we are hungry now.
Okay, I'm going to shut this off, right? Let's spend 5 minutes on the